Hey Dylan, thanks for taking my call.
Hey Dylan, big fan of the show.
Huge fan of the show. Love what you're doing.
Such a big fan of the show. I'm so glad to have a minute of your time.
Hi, Dylan. It's Robin.
Dude, Dylan.
Look, I cannot help you. I'm sorry.
It's not hard to understand, okay? So here's my thought. You would be crazy to think
Hey everyone, I'm your host Dylan Barry here on the Dylan Barry Network on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean. We got a great show for you today here on Hey Dylan. I'm giving my takes. You know, that's what the world needs is more millennials giving their takes. I'm 23 years old, which means I know everything. And today is a great show. I have a fellow millennial, Shay Real, calling in for a segment of Real Talk. He's going to give his takes. Him and I are going to have a little back and forth. We might disagree. We might agree. We'll see. We have some great things we're talking about. Also, later in the show, I got a new segment I'm calling Shouts Out. I'm giving recognition to some things that need some recognition. Things that no one's really talking about, but they deserve to be talked about. And also, we're going to wrap up the show. And I'm going to talk directly to LeBron James and give him 5 reasons why he should come to Phoenix to play basketball. Play for the Phoenix Suns. Take us to a championship. It's all here on Hey Dylan. You can't find this anywhere else, only here. But right now, we're going to send it over to Real Talk with Shay Real.
I mean, when you think of dominant, this is everyone's first thought. I mean, he's a guy that everyone knows his name.
Real talk.
Okay, Real Talk though? Hey, Real Talk though.
Hey, real talk.
Hey, Real Talk though, man.
Hey, yeah, real talk though.
Hey everyone, welcome to Real Talk with Shay Real. This is a segment on the Dylan and Hey Dylan when I have Shay Real call in, give his hot takes. He's also a 23-year-old who's filled with knowledge. Last time he was here, we talked about the NBA. Shay, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Hey, so good. We talked about the NBA last time you were here. And last night, the Golden State Warriors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 4 of the NBA Finals to become the champions back-to-back. In back-to-back years, Shay, I would love to hear your reaction, your recap of the Finals because, man, it was quite a roller coaster of headlines, and you know you got the biggest names in the sport here, and really. My favorite sport, really, to watch and enjoy. It all ended last night. And what were your thoughts on the series?
Well, first and foremost, you know how I feel about the Warriors. So, and I think you feel the same way. So anytime I see them have success or see them win, it really makes me mad because I really just have a true dislike for them.
Right.
But it was one of those things where, I mean, I think at the start of the season, everyone knew what was going to happen. Yeah. You know, no matter how it happened, it was going to happen. I never wanted it to happen, but you know, it's just being realistic. Yeah. But
4
my thoughts on exactly.
You can't have 4 All-Stars on a team and not win the championship. That's
and role players like Iguodala, Livingston, and so on and so forth. But as far as the finals go. It was one of those things where going into Game 1, I was kind of like telling myself, like, hey, maybe the Cavs have a chance. You know, they have LeBron. Telling myself false hope, but you know, and especially Game 1, that whole Game 1, you know, it was back and forth the whole game. And, you know, the longer it went on, then the Cavs should have won.
Yeah, heartbreaker. I don't think I've ever felt so sick after a game than that one. And I was listening on the radio, and that fourth quarter was wild because it was back and forth.
It was, a
bunch of lead changes, and then that final play. To me, I see the missed free throw as the opportunity, and I think George Hill. I don't even.
Yeah, I think
at all. The whole
no, he's getting let off the hook, in my opinion, a little bit too much.
The whole series. Yep.
Especially being an 80% free throw shooter, he's got to make that. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. The whole series, he didn't do anything.
Right.
But like I said, after Game 1, they should have won that game, and that I think that gave myself even more false hope.
Right.
Going into Game 2, I'm like, oh well, they were competitive in Game 1, they should have won, and then Game 2, it went back and forth for the most part for 3 quarters.
Yep.
They didn't really go away until that fourth quarter. the Cavaliers. And, and then that happened in game 3, it was one of those things where, it was at home finally. They were in Cleveland. If they win this game, things might be a little bit different. And then that's when, the Cavaliers were up by like 13 in the first half. Yep. And then Kevin Durant went nuclear and, went nuts. And I didn't think they had a chance in game 4. I think it was over. It was all but over after game 3. Mm-hmm. So, I read online this morning that some people thought, like, oh, well, it was a boring series. And I really don't think it was a boring series for the most part. And I think most people would agree with that. Aside from game 4, I think it was somewhat competitive for, most of the series. And, whether that's on LeBron's shoulders or not, I think if he had different teammates, it might have been a different outcome. But there's nothing they can do about that now.
Right, yeah, it was, you're right, roller coaster of a series. You have Steph's big game 2. And then I think a big thing we saw in game 3 is he went 0 for 10. He scored 11 points. Really, it should have been 9 points. He got fouled at the very end and got 11.
Exactly.
But the fact that an MVP, a type of player like that, can go 0 for 11, I think Clay had around that too. And they still win.
And they still won.
And, they were kind of in control a lot of game 3. But, yeah. And Kevin Durant did go off. That was insane. That was quite a historic performance.
The thing about Steph and Clay, their game 3 is 2016 or 2015, whatever year it was? The Warriors lose that game by 20 plus.
Yep. They did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think they lost by 30 in that game 3 back, a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't have that type of performance from two players like that and still win. That's incredible that still happened.
Right. A wild series to say the least. It's interesting. Even social media, you could really get a feel of what people are feeling on social media. And what Bleacher Report and Sports Illustrated and ESPN are all putting out. And it seems there's a 50-50 balance of LeBron lost as opposed to the Warriors won. LeBron still is the headline here after the win. And that's so interesting to see how big of a deal he is. Also, the big headline that came out last night, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, minutes after the game, it felt like, is that LeBron had a broken hand after game 1. The frustration, he punched a whiteboard, apparently. He was so mad, pretty much playing with a broken right hand. He had a cast on. He hit it from the press and during practice. What are your thoughts on that? And will that affect him going forward, do you think?
Going back to your statement about how LeBron dominates the headlines real quick, I read something last night that said, it's along the lines of the Warriors could be the NBA's best franchise and best team of all time, and they're going to get the headlines for one day, and then it's right back to LeBron and what he's doing.
Yeah,
I thought that was incredible.
Yep.
But the point about the broken hand, when I first read about it last night, my first thought was oh, I hope people don't use it as in that was his excuse on not winning and not performing as well as he did after game 1, because those fans who still don't really like LeBron, because there's a large percentage of people out there who don't like LeBron, whether that's people who love Jordan, or it's usually either people who love Jordan or people who love Kobe. They don't like LeBron.
Right.
And I really the Kobe one I don't really get, because LeBron's a lot better. I don't want to say a lot better than Kobe, but he's better than Kobe.
Yes.
Let's just
not a better shooter, but shooter is the one thing I might give Kobe.
Exactly.
Over LeBron, but
exactly. But yeah, that's usually what it is. People who love Kobe or people who love Jordan really don't like LeBron. And my thought was oh, that's going to give them one more reason to say oh, that was his excuse. That's why he didn't play well. Yep. I think it was one of those things where I think we talked about it last time, where LeBron's been in the league 15 years playing at an elite level and never had a serious injury. And I hope this isn't a lingering thing, especially being older. And especially being in a shooting hand, you just hope it's not one of those things where, let's say you get surgery this offseason, doesn't heal properly. And so I think That was my biggest concern and biggest issue about it. I don't think it's going to have an issue with teams wanting to sign him.
Right.
Definitely not.
Well, I mean, that moves us into off-season talk. Shay, what are a few things that because NBA offseason is so exciting, especially it's early July when the free agent deadline happens or free agent starts, free agency, and then as Suns fans, we got the draft, which is a pretty nice draft. Every year we kind of say it's a pretty nice draft. It feels top heavy this year. Like there are a lot of guys at the top that could be pretty nice because really you don't know. Those late lottery picks or late first round picks, we won't know that they're great until middle of next year when, they're going off. What are things we should be looking for this offseason?
Well, I think first you got to start. I think number one is LeBron.
Right.
I mean, by a wide margin. The whole league dynamic is going to change, depending on where he goes.
Right.
So I think that's number one, obviously. I think number two has got to be the draft.
Yeah.
Especially like being out here in Arizona, the Suns finally have the first. I know, you're a huge Suns fan.
Big Suns fan.
So I think, I think in my eyes that's got to be number two because, like I said, the Suns have the first number one pick, and like you said, it is top heavy. There's a lot of players who we think could be really good players at the next level.
Yep.
And I think number three is definitely going to be the rest of free agency. There are still some good free agents out there. You still got players like Paul George, even DeMarcus Cousins. There's been talks of I've been hearing the Lakers are going to sign this free agent and that free agent for the last 12 years, and it's never happened.
Right.
So we'll see if this is finally the year. You still got players like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The one year they did it, they got Nash and Dwight Howard, and
they were terrible.
Work out. Yeah.
No, you still got players like Kawhi Leonard. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely going to be another interesting storyline this summer.
Now, the offseason thing is hilarious. I actually just saw a picture from Donovan Mitchell, Greenwich native. Shout out. He posted hashtag National Best Friends Day, and it was him and Paul George. So I love the recruiting that's happening on social media with all these players. Right when that buzzer sounded last night, we saw a rush of people with LeBron in New York, LeBron in San Antonio, LeBron in Philly. Where do you think the best spot for him is? Because there are so many different dynamics. If he goes to Philly, could he beat Boston? Is Philly enough to beat Golden State? Like, is LA really that roster good for him? What are you thinking?
So, the recruiting last night was wild.
Wow.
The first comment I'm going to make on that, I sent a picture to our group chat last night.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray sending that picture of LeBron in a Spurs jersey.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen the Spurs ever try to recruit a player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. But as far as potential suitors go, I'll start off by saying that obviously you've read it. A lot of people have read that LeBron to Philly is really, really intriguing and interesting. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't really see it.
No, yeah.
If LeBron goes to Philly, what kind of role is Ben Simmons gonna play? He's basically.
Yeah, I think he only took 1 3 this year.
Exactly.
And Ben Simmons is the playmaker, big, like Magic Johnson type that LeBron is.
He plays the role LeBron plays, basically. So I can't really see how he's going to change his game. Yeah. And I know they say LeBron wants to, play off the ball more, but Ben Simmons is not the correct point guard for him, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Joel Embiid is kind of injury prone, he's been he's actually been in the league like 3 or 4 years, but we're kind of just hearing about him because he was hurt.
He's been injured.
Yeah,
he's been injured. So I mean I get why they're young, they're exciting. So I get why people are gonna naturally turn towards Philly. They have a ton of money, they have a ton of cap space. Yeah. But I can't see it working out. Right. Another thing is another team. Obviously, another big one is Houston.
Yep.
I could see him going to Houston, but due to the fact that they have, granted, Chris Paul is a free agent after this year, but they'll figure it out if they have to. And then they obviously have the eventual MVP of this year. My only question about Houston is like, how's it going to work?
Right, the dynamic. Well, we said that about Chris Paul
Exactly.
and James Harden last year. So,
exactly. And it worked.
Yeah.
But now you're adding LeBron.
Yeah.
I
like the mentality that the Rockets, I think is the GM or the owner has. That
it's Daryl Morey.
We need to beat Golden State. I don't know why people don't have that mindset. That is the mindset you need. It doesn't matter. Like, you need to be built to beat Golden State, and LeBron's move there would make a lot of sense. I think a big reason Chris Paul went there not only was to win, but
to set this up.
Taxes are low in Houston.
Exactly.
People don't realize that. Taxes are lower than California than Houston. And there's a lot that goes into it that we probably don't realize.
That's my biggest question about Houston is how exactly is it going to work?
Right.
It probably will work, but just how?
Yeah.
You had two ball dominant guys, and so that's my biggest thing.
Right.
And then once again, you have the Lakers who insert themselves every year.
Yep. And I guess it makes sense.
It does. It does.
On a mogul standpoint, Colin Cowherd talks about how LeBron is in mogul stage now. He's building his brand. He wants to do movies. He wants to do bigger than basketball things, and LA might be the spot for that. But you're not going to win there. Like, you have Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram are not even close to ready.
Hold on real quick. Michael Wilbon said the other day that he's positive that the Lakers right now already have a better team than the Cavaliers do.
Yeah, fair.
Which I agree with, but they're not ready.
Right.
They're not ready. Now they have a ton of the Lakers could go out and do 2 max signings.
Yeah.
So whether that's
which people are
LeBron,
thinking, Paul George
or even Kawhi, or like a sign and trade type thing, or Chris Paul. Like, I know Colin Cowherd said the other day, like, he has sources telling him that like Chris Paul and LeBron to LA.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how. Like I said, I know there's a large percentage of Lakers fans out there who don't like LeBron.
Right.
We
know Lakers fans. They are going to be quick to fall in love with him right when he gets there.
Oh yeah,
he's their savior.
Because we all know the old Lakers fans are the new Warriors fans.
They are. They really are. It's a great one.
But you have to think. I think his production company is out there in LA.
Yep.
I think his family's out there. He just bought a huge $1 million, like $28 million house out there.
Yeah.
So I think naturally they're going to be high up on the list, but how competitive does he want to be?
Right.
And
yeah, there is a point. He doesn't have anything to prove, but he clearly gets frustrated with losing. Like, he
wants to win another championship.
Right. He is way too frustrated on the bench. You can see him yelling and screaming at guys. Like, he is tired of losing to the Warriors. So I think that is a big motivational thing. Thinking about his sons, and it looks like Bron Jr. is on the up and up. Who knows where he'll want them to live. Him staying in Cleveland, though, feels out of the question.
I think it does, yeah. I think it does, too.
Because that roster is just... I think there are some terrible contracts on that team. I think Jordan Clarkson makes like $20 million or some stupid amount.
Dude, I could have played better than Jordan Clarkson in the finals.
Goodness. Hey, but shout out to Rodney Hood. They gave him minutes.
They finally did. They finally did. I'm glad. He made himself a little bit more money this summer.
He did.
And then, like, another team with LeBron, and I never really thought about it until recently, but it makes a lot of sense. San Antonio, it's intriguing.
Yeah.
It's intriguing. I know him, and he's always loved Popovich. He's always had a connection with him. As of now, they still have Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's something that Kawhi wakes up and goes, oh, yeah, I'll play in San Antonio. Because the whole Kawhi thing is weird to me.
That's weird. Yeah, it's really weird.
That's something I'm looking forward to getting some answers on this summer, whether they trade him, whether he comes back. Like, that's a very interesting
It's
story.
Really weird. Really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like San Antonio. I don't know why. I don't think it would work, but I think like he has, because LeBron's a player. he needs players around him that can he needs shooters, like catch and shoot guys.
Yep.
They have a couple guys I don't think they'd be able to afford Danny Green if they have LeBron, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think Houston makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I just don't know how.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out some role players.
And then go based off you talk about the role players. I think I read yesterday that someone said Trevor Ariza would take a huge pay cut to play with the Warriors.
I did. I
what? What is that? What?
Well, LeBron is gonna sit down with the Warriors too, which
I know. And I'm not going to talk about that because that's just going to make me mad.
That is an interesting. I wonder why he would do that unless he was seriously considering it. Which, if that happens, man, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Dude, if he signs with the Warriors next year, I don't know if I'd watch a single game next year.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would protest the NBA like some people protested the NFL.
Dude,
it's more offensive to me that you would sign with them.
It is.
Some of those NFL issues. Oh boy. With LeBron, here's my thing. He should go and get rings with someone he's gotten rings with. And I know you might be thinking Dwayne Wade. Not Dwayne Wade. The other King James. James Jones.
Hey, no one's talking about them.
Coming up later in the show, I'm talking directly to LeBron, giving 5 reasons to come to Phoenix. And James Jones, sole spoiler, might be one of them.
Hey, could you imagine?
Man, dude. Hey, I read the Sports Illustrated article on DeAndre Ayton, and I am very excited for that dude.
Yeah.
Super excited. But then, even thinking about Marvin Bagley, it's a bummer. I wish you could get both of them.
I know, me too.
Because Bagley's pretty sick. But yeah, man, the Suns need to make some moves. Sarver needs to be on the hot seat. I don't know, we could come out on draft night and the Suns might draft Trae Young because I feel like.
Well, dude, it's funny you say that.
So capable of that.
It's funny you say that. I literally, before I got on the phone with you, I got a notification. I don't know if you got the same one. That the Suns are trying very hard to bring Trae Young in for a workout.
All right, okay, that's fine. Let's get some media attention on that, and then never again. Send him to Devin Booker's barber. You know what I'm saying,
bro? He needs to figure that. He needs to figure that out before he gets in the league. I won't take him serious until he figures that out.
Hey, but maybe take him to Josh Jackson's barber. Even Josh. I don't know what happened to that guy.
Oh my!
He lost a few pounds going to the barber.
He did. Dude, Elfrid Payton got a haircut too.
Oh, he did. Jeez, man.
Summer haircuts.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I think
the
Suns got to make some moves.
I think if they were to get Trae Young, it was saying that they're serious about trading back up into the top 10.
Huh. Yeah.
See, because I read something yesterday where someone said the Suns shouldn't trade back up to get a point guard. They should sign one in free agency. Well, who?
Yeah.
Who's out there?
Right. What the Suns need is they need a second round guy like a Draymond Green who no one's even heard of or give recognition to, and even like Klay Thompson that comes out and is an all-star. And I know that's kind of ridiculous and hard to see or make happen, but man, that's just, as an organization, you need that. So
they're gonna they're gonna draft Cody Justice from ASU. He's gonna be their Draymond Green.
hey, I'm Svi Mikhailuk. Come on.
Hey, true.
Watch out for Svi.
Hey, Svi.
He's built for the NBA.
He needs someone like LeBron, catch and shoot type guy.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I think. No joke. I do think Svi's game could translate well because man,
he's tall too. He's 6'8".
He's great off the ball. Because I watched a lot of Jayhawks games, and yeah, he's pretty active. I like the guy. He's tough.
Svi.
Maybe Devontae Graham, point guard.
Hey, true. He needs a haircut too.
Yeah, he's got a 6 head, not a 4 head, like a 6 head, man.
Oh, he does.
And his eyebrows are in the middle of his forehead too.
He does have a huge forehead.
Look that up.
Oh my gosh.
Let's move on from the NBA. Some big albums dropped, Shay, in the last week or two, including
Shawn Mendes. I'm just kidding.
Shout out Richie Becerra.
Exactly. Herb.
a lot of big albums dropped, including from one of the biggest names in entertainment. Kanye West dropped a nice 7 or 8 track album called Yay. What are your thoughts on this album and maybe some other ones you heard?
I thought so. We talked about it privately, but I went into Ye like trying to be optimistic and trying to like not worry about the stuff he had done like on social media and whatnot.
He brings it up in
he does. Yeah, he does. But I went into it trying to listen objectively, and it was okay. It wasn't his best work. I think I told you this as well. Like before I could get a real grasp of it, like it was over already. The album, like there was no, it was done. I think he touched on a lot of issues that a lot of people had questions about. And you don't see a lot of people really. I mean, you are seeing more people do that now, but it was good. I think the production was an A. That was all him. He's a great producer, so I think the production was really well. Some of the songs were okay. It wasn't his best work, like I said.
Yeah.
I think to me, like listen to it first go around. I really loved the Ghost Town track.
Okay.
Because I told you this before. Like I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan. I've been a huge Kid Cudi fan since like junior high.
Yep.
So like everything like Kid Cudi does, I love. And so it was just nice to hear him back on a track like that because he'd really been out of the spotlight for a while. He had his own issues to deal with. So that I really like that track, and then in turn that got me excited for their collab album that I'll talk about next. But it was good. I think the funniest thing to me was the whole Tristan Thompson line.
Yeah.
I think you caught that, but it was okay.
It was you mentioned it was pretty dark.
It was dark. It was very dark.
But the tone was throughout. It wasn't all over the place. It
stayed the course for the most part.
It felt
and
it felt kind of rushed to me in terms
it
of
did.
Because especially even seeing how relevant the lyrics were, and maybe he did squeeze them in last minute, but it's a process to get all the stuff out, and so I don't know. It felt like a rushed product, but still, it's Kanye, and everyone's gonna listen to it, and it wasn't bad. It was a nice listen. I don't know that I'll revisit it for a while, but
it was it's funny you say that it was rushed, but I'm sure you saw it like on social media or whatever. But he had that like huge listening party out in Wyoming for it. They were saying like a lot of the tracks on the album he didn't finish until like that afternoon. So I mean,
hey, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes you got to naturally go for it and put it out there. But I don't know. It just felt rushed. And maybe he would come back and say Late Registration was rushed too. But that was
a great album. Hey, my beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best, but we'll say that for later. But you said it. It's an okay album. If it comes on again, I'll listen to it, but it's not one of those things where I'm going to go back and listen to it on repeat. I'll give it 3 out of 5 Corona bottles.
Okay. All right. I'll drink any limes in those Corona. 3 out of 5. Man, this is the new rating system here on the Dill right now. I love it. Hey, family. All right.
Family.
So, other albums you said you mentioned?
Yeah. So, the Kid Cudi and Kanye collab album. Kids See Ghost. I thought that was wonderful. Like I said before, I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan, so anything he puts out, I listen to. But I think like I mentioned before, he was out of the spotlight for a while, so I think this was a really good like introduction back to the spotlight for Kid Cudi. To me, the production was amazing. I think the features they had were well placed. I think there was only like 2 or 3 features on the whole album. But you really got to hear Kid Cudi and like his singing and his the chorus, and just the production was really well.
Hey, shout out Pete Davidson was at the listening. I don't know
he
if
was.
You saw that.
He was him and his bae.
Him and his bae. Ariana Grande.
That's weird.
Wow, what a matchup there.
That's really weird. I thought her and Mac Miller were weird, but her and Pete Davidson's even weirder.
I think she is weird. She might.
I think she has a thing for white guys who had substance issues in the past.
Okay, cool. Did she date Justin Bieber? She might have, right?
She might have. Who knows?
Hey, tatted up white dudes with substance abuse. All right, man.
No, I thought it was. I love the album. I've been listening to it on repeat for a little bit.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a lot different than Ye. To me, it's a mix of like it was like if Yeezus album and Kid Cudi's Indica album had a baby, this is what it would be.
All right.
I think like you get like a lot of futuristic beats, and it's not like a lot of mainstream production. I think it was really well done. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
yeah, I mean, so what would you rate this guy? Is it a different scale? I don't know.
4 Coronas and 1 can.
1 can of Corona.
Yeah. So not quite 4.5.
Yeah.
Like a 4.2 or 3.
Give me an album that is 5 out of 5 Bombays. Do you have?
Oh.
5 out of 5 Bombays.
Ooh, 5 out of 5 Bombay. Something I can listen to like whenever. However,
it's always reliable, because I actually I was working out the other day, listening to Good Kid, Mad City again, and man, I just felt like at home. I don't know what it was. It felt like that album like wraps its arms around me. I don't know why.
That's his best one. That's his best one.
That's my favorite. Yeah,
I think I told you this the other day, but I think that was the last album I bought, like
as a disc or as on iTunes.
Yeah, like I paid money for it with not streaming or not doing Apple Music.
Hey, it's a good stuff.
I think that's like a 5 out of 5 Bombays. I think. I just think the whole storyline on it is incredible.
Yep.
I would also say. New? Are we talking new or
anything, man? Anything that anything that our listeners can lean back on. My listeners, listeners. These people need to hear something. I remember last time you told people to watch some crime movies, and The Departed is now on Netflix.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Go
Netflix
watch that.
heard me. Netflix heard me.
They heard you, man. They listened.
So the album I just told you about the other day, Yes Lord.
Oh my goodness.
It's one of those things where like a lot of people, you have to be like, it's not one of those things where I think anybody can go, like you have to like that kind of music, I think, maybe. But it's one of those things where not a lot of people have really heard about it unless like you're into that music scene.
Yeah.
But the production on it's amazing. Anderson .Paak it's just all around, like it's all around to me close to perfect.
Yeah, that was really great. And I listened to it on an airplane, and I was just chilling. I was actually trying to fall asleep, and I couldn't fall asleep because I wanted to keep listening. And
that's probably the perfect place to listen to it because like you're just like you don't have any distractions, like you're just there listening to it.
I was locked in, and there was a few times where I was so close to falling asleep, but then a track would come on that I loved so much that I would pull out my phone. I'd wake myself up, pull out my phone, and put like the love button on it on iTunes, so that I knew I could come back to it. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm always gonna have a place in my heart for Take Care.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of people. That's a big one. So a lot of people have already heard it, but oh man, that's just from beginning to end. From beginning to end, that's close to perfect.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shay, you're so versatile. Sports, music. We're gonna go into traveling, vacation. You and I just got back from a vacation about 2 weeks ago. We went south of the border. There was no wall.
We did. No wall.
No.
I didn't see it.
Hanging out with all the bad hombres we could down there in Rocky Point, Mexico. And we went with 8 other people, so it's 10 of us total. And something really interesting happens when you travel with friends and you have 10 different personalities who have 10 different life experiences, 10 different ways they might want to have fun, 10 different ways they want to spend money, 10 different ways they want to eat or they want to do things. It's hard. And I remember it
was hard.
Someone told me a few years ago that you learn so much about a person when you travel with them because all those things come out of what they want to do, how much they want to spend, time management, when they want to wake up, all these things. that you don't think about. You think, oh, we're gonna go down there, we're gonna have a great time, it's gonna be vacation, but it's a lot of work. So tell us, Shay, what is the key or the keys to a successful vacation with friends? Because there's some things, man, for next time we're definitely gonna need to implement.
Oh, big
for
time.
Our next one.
Big time. I think first and foremost, I think you've got to go with the right people.
Yeah, you do.
I think you've got to go with people who not everything may agree. You may not agree with them 100% across the board with everything, but I think they've got to have the same mindset with certain things. I think you've got to go with the right people.
Yeah.
And I think it has to be the right timing.
Yeah, it does.
It has to be the right timing too.
And our group was cool because what we did is we had a lot of fun in the afternoon, a lot of fun at night, but mornings were so chill. And that was something we all agreed on non-verbally. And we watched a movie in the morning, or we
eat some breakfast.
Some potatoes. Shout out.
Oh my goodness.
Shouts out. Coming up.
Hey, shouts.
But yeah, that was something cool that worked. But then, when it came to splitting tabs, maybe, some taxi rides, spending money was a big one. It was tough, but I thought overall that morning dynamic was really cool because that was a re-energizing thing. Some people stayed in their rooms and were like, yo, I need my time by myself.
Exactly.
I spent one morning on the porch and I sat out there for a good amount of time just by myself, and those things are pretty key to. And
you bring up the money aspect of the whole thing.
Yes. Let's talk.
Rocky Point, for the most part, is a pretty cheap place too. So I think it can be, yeah. So I think for the most part, I think it could have been a lot worse. Like if we went somewhere else,
right?
If we went to like California or somewhere in the States.
Yeah.
I know we've always talked about like wanting to go back east, go to New York. Like that would be like way more expensive.
That's a trip when we're all established in our careers and we
exactly
have some money.
And everyone's got to know like, hey, this is expensive. This is, you know what I'm saying? So, I think like there needs to be a better understanding with like money and stuff,
right?
And who's paying for what, and
you're you're right. And we had a goal to go down there and relax and kick off the shoes and just get in a mindset where we are beyond relaxed, and, to put it lightly. And that was the goal, and I think we accomplished that goal. And
I think so too.
Because if we were going to Disneyland, it's like, we want to have the best Disney experience. That means we got to spend a lot of money. But down there,
exactly,
it wasn't a lot.
And I think,
and we cut back on things. Yeah,
we did. And I think like going to a place like Disneyland, like for the most part, like 9 times out of 10, people are going to want to do different things throughout the whole time there. Whereas in Mexico, like there's a couple things to do really. Yeah. So I think going to Mexico with everybody was like an ideal trip for a lot of people because there's only a couple things to do.
Right.
Whereas if you go to like somewhere else, if you're in California, like, oh, we want to go to the beach. Oh, we want to go over here. We want to go to the bar. And it's a little bit different. It's a little bit. I know it's the same thing, but it's a little bit different.
And there are things like when you go on trips, you have people who are like, yo, I need to know the plan. What are we doing tonight?
Exactly.
When are we leaving? That was something that you really do have to have open-handed, because when we decided to go somewhere, it happened in 10 minutes. It didn't happen like there was only one thing we had scheduled and planned, and
that was
the Sunday night.
The Booze
Brews. And dang, shout
out Richie.
Shouts out.
Oh boy, that was
Richie. Richie wasn't there. It's Bricks.
No, the Booze Brews.
Bricks,
I'm sorry. Shout out Bricks.
Shout out Bricks. I know he's listening. Josh Ferguson.
I think next, if we do it again, I think we need to come up, because whether we go to Mexico or no matter where we go, I think having a better itinerary is key.
Yeah, and I think we kind of, most of us had our own personal checklist of things we wanted to do. I wanted to go on jet skis. Didn't.
So did I. Yeah, I got forced to go on banana boats twice, unfortunately.
Brutal. Banana boats are brutal.
Dude, I was sore for like 4 days afterwards.
Man, to bounce back from that trip, it took me about 4 days.
It took a couple days. It shouldn't have that shouldn't be like that, but it did. It happened.
I'm spinning a little bit still. But yeah, I think for the most part, everyone would give that 4.5 Coronas out of 5.
Yeah, I think so too.
Near perfect trip. Honestly, no big slip ups in
No.
terms of driving, in terms of sickness, in terms of danger. We didn't leave the hotel room. We were content with being in the room at night, hanging out with each other, laughing, playing games.
Yeah, we had enough. We had enough stuff. Yeah,
we did.
We had more than enough stuff to keep us occupied in that sense.
Yeah, we had more than enough ramen and cereal.
Oh my god!
I paid for that ramen. Where is
and
it?
like 3 things of ranch for salad you didn't even have.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I think another thing. I think maybe I thought we were stocked enough. Like, especially going on a vacation like that, being well stocked with things.
Yep, very important. And dude, shopping. I thought we did great prep in terms of shopping. Didn't know we would burn through some things as fast as we did.
Alcohol.
Yes, we just burned through that really quick. None of it stood a chance, really.
And like another thing is like aside from ramen and cereal, we pretty much didn't really bring anything back.
No, we didn't. A lot of chicken and steak apparently was cooked on the last night, which
I felt like Bobby Flay that last night, dude.
Hey, actually, that.
Oh, rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain.
Not Bobby Flay. Bobby Flay is alive, but
alive and well.
Yes, I thought you said rest in peace after Bobby Flay, but yeah.
Oh no.
Anthony
rest
Bourdain.
in peace, Anthony Bourdain. Love the guy.
Yeah. Speaking of traveling, Shay, I want you to. You have the floor on Anthony Bourdain. Tell us what he meant to you. Again, a tragic passing this week. Suicide. He was found dead Friday morning, I believe, in France. He was shooting something for a new show. Shay, what was it like hearing that news? And because from what you've told me, he meant a lot to your family, even.
Yeah, I mean, in like when I still lived at home with like my mom and dad, his show on CNN was like the only show like we sat down and watched as a family. Like I know when I was younger, like we'd sit down and watch certain shows, but as I got older, like that never really happened. But we made it a point to watch that show. It's a wonderful show. It's one of those things where it's called Parts Unknown on CNN, but it's one of those shows where like he shows you parts of the world where like he shows you different things throughout the world where normally we wouldn't see. He tells us stories in those cities we normally wouldn't hear about. And like it's funny, I was reading a lot of things yesterday where people said he showed you he made it to where he created like a bridge between the US and like certain countries to where we shouldn't be like afraid of them or shouldn't be don't know anything about them. He kind of closed that bridge a little bit. And there's a couple episodes where like he does an episode in Vietnam, and Obama's with him, and like that's like right there should tell you like he wasn't just getting small guests, and it's funny like the restaurant, he like a little hole in the wall restaurant in Vietnam with Obama, and the table they sat at is like framed now. Wow. But like he showed us like he reported he was a chef and he did he had his troubles in the past, but he brought more to the table in his show than local food. Right. There's an episode where he's in Mexico City and he's talking about like the cartel and all the people that are dying in Mexico and how much of a problem it is. Like he brought those issues that we wouldn't normally know about, right? Like onto the forefront for the most part. So it was one of those things where, without like, so I'm a huge Action Bronson fan. He's a rapper, but he has a show on Viceland where he pretty much does the same thing. He goes, whether it's in the US or out of the country, like different food spots, and he'll like talk with locals and stuff like that. And like without Anthony like a show like Anthony Bourdain does, like there's not that never happens.
Lay the
Or
groundwork, yeah.
exactly, to where in throughout like the country for the most part, food is like food's like a communication between people almost.
Yeah.
Like I live in Arizona, but I love like Italian food, or I love Chinese food. It's like a communication pretty much a lot of people can speak, and he brought that, and I just like, it was really sad yesterday when you actually brought it up in the group chat, because I think I was asleep, and I woke up and I just kind of skimmed it, and I didn't really believe it, because like he was literally just in Hong Kong. He seemed happy finally, after, like I said, he had a lot of troubles in his past, but he finally seemed happy, and like his girlfriend, or I think it's his wife, she was part of the whole Me Too movement with Harvey Weinstein, and he was like very active in that whole thing, and like it just seemed like things were finally starting to really like go right for him. And he's always said like he should have been dead at 20. He became a father at 50, and he was living his best life at 60. So it's unfortunate how it happened. There's a real issue out there with that. So I was really sad, and I actually talked to my mom and dad last night, and they were pretty upset by it, because like you watch that show, and like it feels like you watch that show every Sunday night, and it feels like someone like that is part of your family, especially in a setting like that. So it was really sad. I was really upset.
Yeah, well, it's a truly brutal loss from a guy who was. And like real impact, and you could see,
and we talked, response and we talked about it. We talked about it, and you had heard about it. You knew who he was,
right?
But like, I don't think you really knew how big of a deal he was,
right? Yeah, I had buddies who always talked about Parts Unknown and how it's a great show to hear about cultures, and this guy
exactly
travels around and connects with people, and I mean, he's a big deal. Great. Someone, I forgot who said it, but someone said he's like one of the best storytellers we have.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, it was really sad. So his shows. He had a show with Travel Channel a couple years ago, and then he got Parts Unknown on CNN. Yeah. For anybody who has like time to kill, like I really recommend going and watching that on Netflix.
Yeah. All right.
Really good stuff.
Anthony Bourdain. Shay, thanks so much for coming on for Real Talk. Do you have any other things you want to let our listeners know?
Real quick. I know last time we talked, the NHL playoffs were just getting started, and I told you to watch out for my Golden Knights.
And hey,
unfortunately, they did reach the Stanley Cup final, but they did not win. Mm-hmm. Not all teams can have that much success in their first year of existence, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but we'll be back. Make no mistake.
And I think I said it in again, we referenced our group chat, but it was a win for the NHL either way. Ovechkin getting one is huge and is awesome. It's always so sad to see amazing athletes not win a title in their career. So I think it's great for Alexander.
Yeah, he needed one. Yep. He needed one big time.
He got one. Yeah, the Golden Knights. Hopefully they'll be back. I mean. We'll see. I won't really check in until next year, so like a year from now. But I'll try.
Oh, and I also think I said the Mets wouldn't lose a game for the rest of the season. And they've lost a lot. They've lost a lot since I said that.
Yeah. Well,
so that's unfortunate, but that always happens in my sports teams.
Well, Shay, again, thanks so much for coming on, man. Now we got free agency, we got the draft, but we got baseball, unfortunately. I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, football's kind of close.
Football is, we're getting closer, but it hit me this morning too that, man, no basketball till October.
Well, you know what though? I'm an avid NBA summer league watcher.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I love the summer league. I actually plan on one day going to Vegas.
Yeah, let's do it
for the summer league. I really want to do that. I really want to do that one year.
I would love that. And hey, maybe this is the year to go. I was thinking I might try to go out to the NBA draft in Brooklyn because this is my chance. If I'm here and the Suns are number one, it's probably boring for the most part. Like especially after number one, you're kind of like.
I actually embarrassingly entered a draft or like a raffle the other day to win a trip to the NBA draft from the Suns. I got an email, so I was like, why not?
Hey, that's nothing embarrassing about that. I will join you. Yeah. Well, Shay, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
You want to sign off? Tell our viewers stay blessed, I guess. I mean,
Absolutely. I was planning on it.
Hey, all right. Thank you so much, Shay, for Real Talk.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a blessed day, everybody.
We'll be right back. All right, everybody, that was Real Talk with Shay Real. Big thank you to Shay for coming on and talking. We only got a few segments left. Don't have much time here. But right now I'm going to go into a little segment I call Shouts Out.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
Shout out.
I'm sorry. Shut up.
All right, now Shouts Out is a segment on the show here where I'm going to give recognition to something that deserves it, not being talked about a lot. Shouts Out is a phrase that came from a recent trip I was on where we just kept saying Shouts Out to different things that were like, hey, yo, this means a lot. And so I got 3 things I'm going to start out with here for Shouts Out. First one is going to go out. Shouts out to Kevin Love and his hair in the NBA Finals. There's a lot of things talking about in the NBA Finals. J.R. Smith's blunder, now LeBron's hand. Steph Curry breaks the 3-point record. But, man, no one's talking about Kevin Love's hair. And me and my friends had a conversation about it. One of them said that it looked like Kevin Love was in the middle of a barber session, found out he was in the finals, and ran away in the middle of it because, man, there's this... It's shaved all around here, and then up top, it's like it's there. It's a weird, maybe harsh fade. I don't know what he's going for. This man is a fashionista. He's got a few lines of clothing, I know. He's usually a very well-dressed man. But, man, the hair, what was going on, man? Shouts out. Like, we need to talk about this. This is something that, honestly, probably cost them the series. But we're going to sit here and act like it's okay. But, man, you got to watch yourself with the hair. Hopefully in the offseason you can rethink it. You can get back out there, and it can be great for you. Shouts out to Kevin Love's barber and his hair. I don't know who decided it, but pretty nuts. The next shouts out goes out to a wedding I went to last weekend, a week ago. It was the Kravanek wedding. I got flown out to Oregon, to Vida, Oregon, right outside of Eugene, to DJ a wedding. That's right, Dylan Berry. He does it all. He's a DJ too. Man, shouts out to that wedding. So much fun. I got to DJ, like I said. And a big thing, this is a free tip I'm going to give to everybody right now, free of charge. A tip to DJing, because you could be a DJ if you'd like to. You need to have a lot of energy. You need to know music through and through. You need to know deep, like oldies and the new stuff too. But a big thing you need to know as a DJ is know your audience. Okay, now here's a story from this Kravanek wedding. It was a good friend of mine, Ruth, got married to Tyler Kravanek, and they are now married. They went to Cabo for their honeymoon. Congratulations to them. They looked both lovely on that day. But the tip for DJing is know your audience, okay? And my audience was people in their late 20s and then people probably 40 and older, okay? Like much older. You always got grandparents, you always got parents, and then you got people in their 20s who are just going nuts, By the end of the night, the groomsmen all have their ties around their head and the bridesmaids are woo, all that stuff. It was great. It was not a dry wedding, so people were very loose. And that's always great as a DJ too. But know your audience, okay? So my audience, again, that was their ages. They were mostly white people from Arizona, okay? White people from Arizona, a little country in there. I played a song during dinner, because during dinner and in between like the cocktail hour, I was given a playlist that was chill and relaxed to play, and so I just played it. It was given to me. Sometimes people give me playlists or give me songs to play. Sometimes they just say, "Hey, we trust you, do it." So the chill playlist was playing, and I had some friends who were at the wedding and who were there and who took care of me. Shout out to the Dexters if you're there. What's up, Dexters? Shouts out to the Dexters on Shouts Out. And they were giving me a lot of smack, a lot of crap for the music was boring. One, my friend, her name is Hope. She said to me, Dylan, I hope you're a better best man than you are a DJ. I was like, oh, that strikes me. And she said it to some people, then she said it to me. Because I'm going to be the best man at her wedding. I'm going to be her fiance's best man. Shout out Jacob. Shouts out. Everybody shouts out. She said, I hope you're a better DJ. I took that very personally. It hurt me, if I'm honest. But I took it as a challenge. And the drinks were already flowing. And so, you know what? I looked around at my audience, and I played one song. And it's playing right now. Play a little Chicken Fried. For some people from Arizona, white people from Arizona, you know, in their late 40s, they lost their mind. They just like, they were going crazy. Some of them were standing up, like doing this move right here. And then, you had to follow that one up with Red Solo Cup. Man, people just start moving a little bit. They're sitting down. No one's ready to dance yet. We're far from dancing, but you have to get them loose during dinner having fun. So we got that going. What's next? Cue it up. Living on a Prayer. Man, people are shouting at the top of their lungs. Whoa, what happened? You know, just going nuts. All right. Know your audience. These are some great white people songs that get them going, get them wild. Later played some Play That Funky Music and got the older people on the dance floor. This is much later. When you play the new stuff, the old people get intimidated or like, oh, music is not as good as it was back then. But you play That Funky Music. They're out there. Boom. Then you play some Brick House. You keep those old people on the dance floor. The young people have had so much to drink. They're just moving. They don't know what's going on. They're just like, yeah. So you play Brick House. We play YMCA. You got to get that going. And then, boom. What's next? What am I doing? It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Know your audience, guys. For the older generation, you want to get them some great time on the dance floor. They're going to be intimidated by the Biebers, by the Cyrus, by the Ed Sheeran, all these things. But yeah, so shouts out to that wedding. I had a lot of fun. Got to DJ. If you need any of my services, just get in contact with me. I'd love to DJ your event or MC or whatever. You know me. You know what I can do. The last and final shouts out goes to something I was just thinking about is shouts out to Loose Change and Taco Bell. Have you ever been there where payday is right around the corner? Maybe it's 2 days away, maybe it's a day away, and the checking account's not great, and maybe you're not handling money very well. We've all been there. Shouts out to the loose change that you find to maybe get that $3.61 to go to Taco Bell, get yourself a nice meal, get yourself a Baja Blast, get yourself a Crunchwrap Supreme maybe, and enjoy. Shouts out to any loose change you find in your car, in your couch, on your nightstand, from your pockets, man. Shouts out to loose change. It was clutch in my high school years, and it was clutch. It can still be clutch at times too. You know, whenever I'm feeling like, you know, I want to scrounge up or I find out, look at how much change I have. You go and you cash it into some Taco Bell. Maybe Taco Bell's not your thing. Maybe it's McDonald's. We get some great delis around here you go to. And, you know, there's that moment of shame when the cashier says, that'll be $4.21. And you're like, yeah. And you like, if you're in the drive-thru and you reach out and something falls on the ground, they're like, oh, and you kind of look at them and you're like, do you want me to pick up that 8 cents I dropped, or are we good? And you hand it to them, and it's like sticky out of your hand into theirs, and there's one penny still stuck on your thing, and you hand it to them, and you have to wait there a minute while they count it. You just, yeah. I mean, we've all been there. Shouts out to Loose Change for being there through and through. It's a big deal, guys. This has been Shouts Out. Things need some recognition. Shouts out to that wedding. Shouts out to Kevin Love's barber / hair, and shouts out to Loose Change that equals greatness at Taco Bell. That's been Shouts Out, everybody. Got to give recognition where recognition is deserved. Now I need to go into my salesman mode because it is time to sell LeBron. LeBron is an avid listener of this network. I believe it. I think we have listeners in Ohio, and so, you know, we gotta make sure someone in LeBron's camp passes on to him, because so many people, as we were just talking to Shay about we're talking about LeBron going to Philly, LeBron going to Houston, LeBron going to Lakers, LeBron going to San Antonio. But man, he needs to come to Phoenix. And I have 5 solid reasons why he should come to Phoenix. Number 1, we're going to start with is the possibilities in Phoenix. All right, we have Devin Booker. Possibilities with the roster, we'll say. All right, we have Devin Booker. We have the number 1 pick. We have a TJ Warren who can be a nice slashing scorer. We have a Brandon Knight who could be great off the bench. We have Marquise Chris, who's shown flashes of really great athleticism, getting up and down, throwing the ball down hard at the rim. We have some veteran leadership in Tyson Chandler, Jared Dudley, which they got big contracts, but maybe we could do something with that. And then we have Josh Jackson, who came in last year and gave us a great end of the season. Yes, we're the worst team in the league. We sat down some people and we played a lot of guys that, you know, we wanted to see what they could do at the G League. You know, it happened. There are some guys out there I'm like, who's this? At the end of the year, I know we're the worst team in the league. But you know what? LeBron's taken the worst team in the league before and brought them up. He can do it with this roster. With DeAndre Ayton and room to sign some great free agents, I think LeBron, who has given recognition to Devin Booker, I think LeBron would have a great time with the roster in Phoenix. That's number 1. Number 2 is winter is not a word in Arizona. I'm from there. Grew up there from when I was 5 to 20. Winter is not a word. You're from Cleveland. People are talking about Philadelphia and we're staying in Cleveland or New York. Man, winter is terrible, and that's when the NBA season is, and it's awful up there. I know LA has got, you know, their winters get cold and rainy, but winter in Arizona is not even a thing. December gets a little chilly, but we're talking chilly, and for chilly in Arizona it's like 60 degrees, and here that's like flip-flops. I'm here in Connecticut. That's flip-flop weather. There is, during that season, you have so much great time to be outside with your kid, shooting hoops, walking around. Phoenix as a location, the weather is phenomenal, and I think that is a great pull to go to Phoenix. All right, it's great. Next thing is number 3 for your kids. All right, for your kids. DeAndre Ayton went to a training, played basketball in Scottsdale at a facility where he was able to thrive, and he ended up going on to U of A and being a baller and a star. There are places for LeBron Jr. to play and to thrive, and it's not the same in the same areas, but you know what? He's got to tread his own path, LeBron. You can't make your kid do these things. You got to let him do his own thing, man. So I think have your family come here because it's a great place for kids to grow up. They won't be going to public school, so don't even have to look at the public school records and stats for Arizona. Don't even do it. You don't have to. Save you the time. Number 4. This is a big one. Number 4. Who's the guy that's gotten you the championship several times? I mentioned this earlier during a Real Talk. James Jones. All right, James Jones is, I believe, vice president or president of basketball operations in Phoenix, and he can make things work for you. He's your buddy. He's a great leader. You know this. You were happy for him when he left. This finals you got swept is the only finals in these 8 years that you've been swept in, and you didn't have James Jones. Maybe he's the missing piece for you. You know, whenever you team up with James Jones, you're going to the finals. You're going to win a title at least 3 times out of 8 years. You will. And so come James Jones leadership. He's your boy. You can connect with him. He did bring in a new coach. He helped bring in a new coach with Sarver. And, you can work with that coach. That coach did great things in Utah. Blanking on his name right now because he's still pretty fresh, pretty new, not a very big name. But James Jones is your guy. Number 5 reason, I've said it earlier too, but LeBron, for your legacy, if you brought the number 30 team, the worst team in the league, and made them a champion out here in the wild, wild west, and you defeated the Warriors, that's huge. That's bigger than anything you've ever done before. All right, so come and do it. Come to Phoenix. Make us all happy. Do something different. Put Phoenix on the map. You put Cleveland on the map. Miami didn't necessarily need to be on the map. You put Cleveland on the map. Now it's time to put Phoenix on the map. It's still, again, back to location. I know you want to do a lot of things in LA. It's like a quick hour-and-a-half flight to LA. All right, and you're flying private. Maybe it's an hour. Come to Phoenix, LeBron. We love you there. We always believe there. We strive for greatness in Phoenix. We've been trying for the past 8 years. All right, we haven't 2010 was the last time I believe we were in the playoffs. We need you, LeBron. We love you, LeBron. I know Joel Embiid and some of these other guys are going to try to recruit you. But, man, my word over his, okay? Every day, all day. Guys, this has been Hey Dylan. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Wherever you're listening to this, if you made it to this point, if you disagree with any of my takes, put it in the comment below. I can assure you that you're wrong, but go ahead, put it in the comment below. We love you so much. Have an excellent week. Go and make someone's day, and be the best you can be. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say today. Be the best you can be. All right. Have a good one. Peace.